Okay. Welcome. Welcome. If you were not just with me, I was doing another live stream and it interrupted. In that one, if you want to look back, I talked about Uriah Faber, who is fighting tonight. Talked about that kind of veteran approach. Talked about the idea of fighters retiring and everybody saying, hey, Luke Rockhold's got to retire, Holly Holm's got to retire. We talked about that. That's back one. You can find that. Really great chat. And it interrupted. So there was one more thing I really wanted to touch on. If you're just watching this one, welcome. Having a lot of fun on the YouTube channel lately. That is my new studio back there. I'll show it to you quickly. It's just built. There's a bunch of stuff going to go up in it, including that TV for some breakdowns. 6 coats of orange. If you are rejoining me, welcome. And if you were just joining me, we want to talk about the idea of resulting, of looking back. You know, we've heard all kinds of shit. Hindsight is 2020. That's one of the classics. Resulting. That's what that is. Okay, we're going to get into it in just a second, but please, very quickly, my Instagram is where I do my 1-minute breakdowns. So instead of these long form deep dives, 1 minute we get into some analytical shit. The physical, the mental, the emotional, the technical, the spiritual, the philosophical. We try to get it into a minute. Hey, we are back. We try to get it into a minute. It's on my Instagram. My Instagram was taken down. I used footage of a Jorge Masvidal flying knee, which we're going to also talk about here in this topic of resulting. The Jorge Masvidal flying knee, which was taken from fan footage, from a fan's iPhone in the crowd, and I got a copyright strike through the parent company of the UFC, so they took down my Instagram. My new one is at Robin Black Martial Arts. Thank you to everybody. Sorry about my straw. Thank you to everybody who's been pushing it and sharing it and promoting it. You know, Mike Perry and even Michael Bisping said he was going to share that today. So many people. Ben Saunders, Bellator is going to. I'm going to do 10 or 15 Bellator breakdowns. They're going to share it and send people back. So we should get it back. We don't have to. We may get it back. If we don't, we will rebuild it because this is what we do. Some setback from the machine deciding to set me back is it's not going to change what I do. That's what I do. It's what I love to do. Please don't, when you find something that is a challenge, please don't complain. Please don't get emotional. Just go ahead and fucking go after it. That's what we're doing. Okay, resulting. Wow, that's the fastest I've ever got to something in 2.5 minutes. Resulting, as I'm using this term, is we are looking at a result and then extrapolating, reverse engineering and saying, this was brilliant and that was stupid. A lot of the way that traditionally through television and radio, we're still doing it. We don't need to, but we still do it. We have a structure in modern, in olden times that we still use where we will try to predict what happens. And then after we'll say, oh yeah, this happened, and we'll do it. And most of the time we are ignoring the truth of how the world works, of how things work, of how reality works. Jorge Masvidal, there's another video on it. There's 2 on it earlier of his flying knee, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was prepared. It was trained. It was rehearsed. It was executed, and it was awesome. And, there's a million conversations about that knee. This knee we're using as an example. It's not so much about the knee as larger concepts related to how we think. So the knee, he prepares it, he practices. Mike Brown shoots him practicing it. And he goes in and he sets it up perfectly in just the right amount of focus at the time, telling lies in his behavior and his mannerisms. War, all combat, all war is about deception. He deceives him, knee up, bink, lands it on the head, Ben's unconscious. And immediately we got to react. We've been trained by the media to think a certain way. And I don't say that lightly, but I also don't, that's the truth. Something happens, hot take, and then we will just say the things that we saw. We will defend it to the death. We will all react immediately. We will apply meaning to everything, and then we will argue about it. And immediately we will, what's up, CC Ryder? You didn't miss too much. We were talking about resulting. Jorge lands the flying knee. We all freak out. We all immediately say that means Jorge is brilliant. That means Ben sucks. Jorge is brilliant, but so is Ben. Ben doesn't suck. And we don't, This will be a normal response. No criticism, no judgment. This is human. We've been trained to be this way. From our couch, why the fuck did Ben do that? He's so predictable. And then we will start to insult him or make fun of him or laugh at it or somehow judge it. I talked about this in the other video. It's a couple of days back. But when something happens, so this isn't exactly resulting, but this is a tangent that I think that will be of interest. Everything that happens in a fight is not a reflection on thought at that time. It's a reflection on the days, weeks, months, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, and even years leading up to that moment. So you don't see, it was 2 seconds, but really from the time this took one step to the time the knee landed, it's 1 second. And from our couch, we're going to criticize a lifetime athlete and martial artist, Ben Askren, for his decisions in that 1 second. What do you think in that second? Okay, ready? What do you think? Let me ask you what your decision you're going to make right now. The brain doesn't work that way. The brain doesn't work that way. Most interesting book, I've read many books about the processing of the brain, processing under duress, how focus works, how to deploy and apply focus, what is internal focus, external focus, distraction, all of these things. This is the vital aspect of what it is to do anything. This is what it is to do everything. It's the secrets to the universe, is how we interact with it, how we process it. But the very best book and a very good entry to this book is called Thinking Fast and Slow. And in fact, it was Firas, I believe, in Saskatchewan. We were hanging out. One of his fighters was fighting, and I was commentating, and we were chatting, and we were talking about these things. And he said, "Hey, have you read that book?" And it's fucking brilliant. So there are two main ways, or many ways, but two main ways we process the world. What is 1 + 1? Say it out loud. What is 1 + 1? Okay, right, of course, 2. Right? How much thinking did you do? Thank you, Happy T. How much thinking did you do there? You didn't do almost any thinking. That was an automatic reaction. What is 237 times 14? Okay, you don't know. Does anybody know? Now, of course, you can put it in your calculator. Somebody give me that number. Somebody right now in the bottom of the corner. Sorry, I'll say a different one because I didn't write it down. 237 times 14, or whatever I said. Somebody will write it down here, and I will say it. It will take a little while. It will take Adam Rose and Robin Acid Black. See my acid color, it's orange. That's my new studio. So somebody will write it down. 237 times 14 equals who knows? So nobody has given it to me yet, and we have dozens of people here already. And that's okay. You don't have to. Fuck, you're not being paid. And neither am I. I'm hanging out giving you this for free because I love doing this. So it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining me, by the way. Anyways, you can 3318. I'm not going to check that, but let's say that's so. Feels right, right? The process of coming up with 237 times 14 and the process of 1 + 1 equals is clearly different, right? Clearly different. Different functions of your brain, different ways of your brain performing happen. In a fight, 1 + 1 equals is all you can do. So it is now 237 times 14. There are many people on planet Earth. It would only take you a month. You could do that. Not only that number, but other numbers like that. By practicing it, by studying it, by learning it, you could make that happen just as fast as 1 + 1 equals, right? Ben Askren was asked 1 + 1 knee in the face. So his brain only had that to react. He wasn't sitting there going, okay, so what I'm going to do is run forward and drop down, and who cares what happens? Fighting isn't two choices. Sometimes it is, but often it is a dynamic. The choices, and even the word choice is improper because it happens like that. You express it. You don't think about it. You express it based on a lifetime of training and preparation. And it is in dynamic to the other. It is informed by the behavior of the other. So as something is happening, your brain will choose, and somebody said instinct depending on how you define instinct, you can train instinct, you can train reaction time, some reflex, many different terms we use. But what's happening, and talk to any of the best fighters, smart ones, thoughtful fighters, and they will tell you and say, let's talk about your decision making. When he threw this jab and you slipped uppercut, what were you? I don't know. My brain just did that. You know, when you later they'll say, yeah, I started to get the feeling that he was leaning towards his left hand. And when he did, I set up my right kick. At the time, his brain is not thinking, okay, he's leaning towards his left hand. I think I'm going to set up the right kick. It's not like that. I fought 9 times, and I had a bunch of, a couple thousand sparring sessions, hundreds of them against pro fighters. Not all went well. Most didn't. But the experience of it over time, he knew physiologically that he would react with a single leg after the altercation at the hotel. Knew, again, resulting. This is the topic of it. He knew he happened to be correct. He may not have. He didn't know. He thought he was right. He suspected he was correct. He could have been wrong. Very easily, he could have been wrong, right? And this is what I'm talking about, resulting. Jorge is a fucking genius. He is one of my favorite fighters ever. You don't have to Google my name and his name or YouTube it together to go back 4 years and see me raving about him when he was losing to Ben Henderson, about how brilliant he was. You don't have to, it doesn't take much effort to see that how much I've always thought of him and still do and will even more in the future. And that's why I like that I'm using him as an example. This is one of my favorites. This is one of the great martial artists in the world, and who I love and support. And even in this situation, we have to look at the reality. So my bias would be for, man, Jorge knew that shit was coming. He trained it, he knew it, and he did it. And those things are true, but they're not true, right? Because they may not have been so. Resulting is to look back and go, fucking nailed it. But there are many things at play. If he fucking just second guessed himself slightly, or overcommitted, or wanted it even more, or at the last second changed to a single knee, like his all has to unfold properly, right? Something changes slightly, and instead of the knee hitting the chin, the knee hits the shoulder and he gets a hold of him. And that's millimeters. It's millimeters. Of course, Jorge, the brilliant fighter, prepared all of that, and it worked. But millimeters, centimeters, fucking an autumn hair off, and it's different. And if it was, and Ben took him down, and this happens in other scenarios, and everyone says he's a fucking idiot. He's not an idiot. He's a fucking genius. That's what he did. But minor changes. This is called resulting. This affects how we think, not just about fighting. And of course, fighting is my passion. And every now and again, I'm like, I can't believe the kind of shit people say on television and wherever. They're talking as if these things are true. They're not. They're ignoring reality. They've been taught to do that. TV has taught us to do that. Autumn hair t-shirt, please. I'm going to use that. It's actually from either the Book of Five Rings or The Art of War. To lift an autumn hair, this is an imperfect saying, to lift an autumn hair is no sign of great strength. To see the sun and the moon is no sign of sharp sight. To hear the clap of thunder is no sign of great hearing, or it's something like that. But autumn hair. So he could have been off by an autumn hair. And that is a wonderful thing. Think about what that means. That means, oh my God, a crazy right hand. Well, of course, it's fucking lightning and thunder. It's no sign of great sight. And we all do that sometimes. Our job isn't to identify fucking lightning and thunder and then just say nice or awesome or crazy and then say it. Our job isn't just to, hear clapping thunder and go, wow, what a crazy knockout. Our job is to try to see something else and show you the beauty of it and peel back a few layers. But this is life, right? If you're just going through it, just doing the same things, the world is changing around you constantly. And if you're only working with the knowledge that you had a month ago or a year ago, the world is going to leave you behind. right? So resulting is incorrect. It's drawing conclusions based on the result. And of course, there are conclusions to be drawn. In this case, the flying knee fucking knocked that guy out. That is so. But that doesn't mean the answer to the double leg is a flying knee. It doesn't mean this guy sucks. It doesn't mean he was exposed. Somebody has said Aaron Pico's young, but in fight years, taken a lot of damage. Go back and watch my last one about when people should retire. It's a separate conversation. I just recorded that one 10 minutes ago. But Aaron Pico is one of the greatest examples ever I've seen of resulting. So 2 fights. I think there was a win in between. Maybe not, though. No, maybe not. So Aaron's had some brilliant fights. I love watching him fight. I've only said hello to him once, so I don't know him personally. Although I'm a fan of Cub Swanson as a person, and Cub loves him, and of course as a martial artist, and TJ loves him, and all these guys and Juan Archuleta, and all these guys that have worked with him, they all seem to really be impressed with him. He is heavily driven, maybe too driven. They say a racehorse will run until it dies if you let it. There's a loud sound outside. I don't know if you hear that. Apologies. I've got the window open because I just painted my studio for the last 3 days. 6 coats of orange. A racehorse will run until it kills itself. It will push itself that hard. And I think Aaron pushes himself like that. But resulting, Aaron, so he lands some big shots on an experienced guy, and he's got him hurt. And he comes forward with more, and then the guy answers and knocks him out. In the ultimate, Sun Tzu, Art of War, to lift an autumn hair is no, thank you for finding this, is no sign of great strength. To see the sun and moon is no sign of sharp sight. To hear the noise of thunder is no sign of a quick ear. Yeah. I mean, so that's where I got the word autumn hair. But I will use it a lot now. You know, if Jorge was off by an autumn hair, he was, it's all different. Before that, Jorge flying knee against Ben Askren, undefeated Ben Askren. So there's a few other things. Please rewrite these questions. So I'm going to take some questions at the end, but these ones are all sliding by, and it looks like there's some really great points there. So please send them back in about 5 minutes. I'll ask for them after. So Jorge flying knee, undefeated Ben Askren. Kat Zingano flying knee, undefeated Ronda Rousey. Is a flying knee the answer to this? Because if Jorge was off by an autumn hair, or Ben had hesitated 1 second or gone 1 second earlier, which again, Jorge hadn't calculated and done the work to time and worked on seeing that and had his, he had trained for it, but it's still a 100% or a 0. Actually, it's not, because partial hits work too. And even if you get taken down, you still have taught this man that I'm going to take some risks. I'm going to try to fucking take your head off. You get value in the failure, even for Jorge, if he did fail. But yeah, if he's off by an autumn hair, all of a sudden he's down. Kat Zingano, she's down. She's submitted. She's an idiot. What the fuck was she thinking? And I swear to God, the exact same things people say about Ben Askren now. What was he? People from their couch, never trained a day in their life, don't know how it works, don't know how the brain works, don't know how the body works, don't know how the preparation works, don't know what the lifetime of prep it is to get there. Don't know that what happens when you lose sight of something, when there's something that your brain can't interpret, you react the way you've trained a lifetime to react. And for Ben Askren, that is to close and go. But it's also, you see a lot of guys, when something happens and they lose it, they drop down. Almost all these flying knees, it's a function of the brain. The brain, when it's confused, tries to shrink itself, tries to shrink the body. So when a cat's trying to freak you out, it gets bigger. And when we're kind of like freaked out, we get smaller. You do it all the time. The ball's coming at you, you go like this. Fighters lose sight of something and they go to their version of that. Is instead of this, sometimes it is that, but also it is to default to take that. It's been trained to now grab. So I don't know what's happening. My body wants to shrink itself, and I want to take away space. Because in the space is where there's danger for dynamic striking, for big impact, like really, really huge kinetic energy can be transferred in space. If I don't know what's happening and I'm out here, I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm in a lot of danger. I'm in danger of the fight being over. So my natural reaction is small, and I'm going to try to get in close, because in here, there's much smaller punches, right? It's logic. So he just does that. Somebody said, I don't see how he's not embarrassed. I'll tell you how he's not embarrassed. Because he's fucking lived his life taking risks constantly. If you want, and I'm not judging, please don't take this the wrong way, but if you're watching that and thinking he should be embarrassed, you got a lot of work to do. It's not embarrassing to slowly increment. And again, there's so many comments, guys, and I really appreciate it. Let's take them after. I will miss all of these thoughts right now, but I appreciate them. Is over time, every time you wrestle, you risk failure and embarrassment. Every time you train, every time you talk on camera, every time, over, what you're doing is teaching yourself not to give a fuck what we think. And you've overcome embarrassment thousands of times, hundreds of failure, setback. What it is to be at Ben Askren's level is to teach yourself that failure and setback is the chance to grow and become more than you are. What we see when we don't live that way is we go, that guy should be embarrassed. What a loser. And again, please don't think I'm judging. I'm encouraging. I'm trying to encourage us. We're the losers if we look at Ben Askren and think he should be embarrassed. And I don't mean that. I don't mean to like, I'm not trying to be fucking stabby. I'm saying this to encourage us to go live our lives. Risk, failure, setback, improvement, overcome it. Next time it doesn't hurt. And we teach ourselves this. Ben Askren's not embarrassed. He should never be embarrassed. You don't be embarrassed. Fucking dedicate your life, travel the world, fight in arenas in fucking Asia, be a champion wrestler, live. Fucking Ben Askren has lived. And then he gets kneed in the head. Fuck it. Who's he supposed to be embarrassed by in front of? People who haven't lived? That man has fucking traveled the whole world, been in arenas and under the most fucking unforgiving circumstances, testing himself, taking risks, failing, getting setback. Who's Ben Askren supposed to be embarrassed in front of? People who never fucking took those risks? Never! Right? And why do I say this? So that you fucking take them. Take some risks. Try and fail. Get dinged. Get setback. Get fucked over. Get out there. This is what is life. Do not sit around judging the performers. And I said this in my last video, and I will be saying this again a lot. We're being taught to, instead of only being in the stands to watch football games or baseball games or fights or rock bands, we're being taught to sit in the stands of life and criticize those that are living. You can have opinions, but every time that you have an opinion on everything and very little is turned back inward to say, what can I change? How can I get better? What can I work on? You're being you're in the stands of life. You're in the stance of life. Ben Askren should not be ashamed. Was Ben resulting? Did Ben Askren do all the wrong thing? Not if he fucking one more autumn hair in or back or hesitate or stop on the way in or his brain changes or steps to the outside. No. Then you'd think he was a genius and you'd think Jorge was an idiot. This is life. This is life. This is the lesson. And if if a bunch of people on Twitter think that you're an idiot and should be embarrassed, fuck them. You're not going to live your life because somebody might. You're not going to try to, like, Ben Askren fought his whole life to get there and then he failed. So what? And then people are like, he's over. He's over if he chooses to be. He's over if he says, you know what, man, fuck this. I've never been knocked out like that before. I don't like it. I made a lot of money. I've had a great adventure. I'm going to do some other shit. Good on him. It's Ben Askren's life. And some people would be like, he can't go out like that. He can go out how the fuck he wants. It's his life. This is something I always am talking about. And I talked about it in my other one earlier today. You can go back and watch it if you're just joining me. Also, if you're just joining me, please tell a few people at Robin Black Martial Arts is my new Instagram. I was hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of people a week were watching my 1-minute breakdowns. I got to find them. I owe it to them. They've watched so many of them, been so encouraging. I got to find them. I got to help them find my thing at Robin Black Martial Arts. So please save your questions. We're going to get to that. So resulting. No, this isn't brilliant. And there isn't a giant. Life is the secrets, the answers are in the hard stuff, are in the systems, in the process, in the weeds, in the water. The answers aren't never throw a low kick or you'll get punched with the right hand. We saw when Joe said bink and he shouted me out with that young Asian guy. People are like, no naked leg kicks. That's not true. A lot of times I want to throw a naked leg kick. Why? I want you to throw a punch. If I want you to throw a punch, what's the best way to get you to throw a punch? Throw a kick. If I'm ready and I've prepared myself and I've laid a trap, of course I'm going to do that. All these rules are bullshit. Resulting, Aaron Pico. He's landing big punches against a veteran. He's got his guy hurt, and he moves forward, and the guy answers and knocks him out. I swear to God, the amount of YouTubers and people who didn't fight and don't train and just react and play do the jobs that TV asks you to do, which is have an opinion, strong opinion, regardless of whether or not this is actually based in the reality of how the world works and or is good for people. They were like, he needed to take him down. Aaron Pico needed to shoot for a takedown. What? Every time as if it's resulting. One more punch, the guy's unconscious. And instead of Aaron should have taken the guy down, which who the fuck takes somebody down? Like 1 out of 5, 1 out of 7 finishes. I got a guy hurt. Everything's good. I hurt him. I finish him or I don't. Some people take some guys down, but it's not like that's what you do. But that's what they said. And then I don't care what they said, but I'm just saying this is resulting. I'm giving you the example. He should have taken him down. He needed to take him down. What the fuck are you talking about? Same weekend, Jose Aldo got a win, and he fucked this guy up, and he stayed in there for a long time. And yes, I know you might say Aaron's less experienced, Jorge's a veteran, Jose's a veteran. That may be true, and that may be relevant, and it may be irrelevant. We tend to try to go, it was the precision that did it. It was the timing. It was his veteran instinct. He had a great finishing instinct. But if Aaron finished that guy, we'd all be raving about his finishing instincts. Instead, he made a mistake. He needed to take the man down. Then in his last fight, he got kneed in the head trying a takedown. Oh, he should have kept it standing. The fuck? It's resulting. You don't know. 100 times during that fight, this happened or that happened. It isn't, the result doesn't dictate what was right or was wrong. And even the choice to take the man down, which got him kneed, was built up over choices that were made through the 12 minutes that happened before it, that were built up through the choices he did in the training. And when I say choice, a lot of that is instantaneous and unthought. It's just a reaction or an algorithmic choice. The brain just does what it's been trained to do. All of that happened in the training room. It's a combination of all of the experiences of his life as a fighter and a wrestler and a martial artist, and so you can't criticize it and like he should have done this. That's not how it works. You don't get to choose. You don't get to choose whether you do a takedown when a flying knee comes. It's 1 second. The choice has been made in the training room and in your experience over the last 10, 15 years of your life. Anyways, I hope this was of some value. This is where we're going. This is where this YouTube channel is going. And if there's 1 million views of my 1 minute breakdowns, I love that. And if that gets down to only through the filter of, hey, these are fun, I really like this. Only 10 or 15% of those people say, I want to see the deep shit. I want to sit there and some of you smoke weed and some of you relax and some of you are on a treadmill or whatever. And only a small percentage of you gets here. Well, you're going to be my deep audience. You're going to be my people. You're the people I appreciate. You spend a lot of time with me. It means a lot to me. This is where I explore these ideas. I got something else I want to talk about, but I guess we'll try to do it tomorrow. It's about the art of taking a punch. Again, somebody asked what belt I am in the gi. Oh yeah, we're going to take some questions. I'm only a blue belt with a couple of stripes. I got that about 8 years ago before I was fighting. God, my first fight was 10 years ago, so I haven't been belted in 10 years. But I also don't wear a gi. But I'm probably not much beyond that. I'm a half decent grappler, but I don't grapple that much. I punch and kick a lot more these days. But it's all the same to me. Punching and kicking. Space allows you to create more force when you strike with something. Less space allows you to use more leverage and torque. But principles are all the same. There is no striking or grappling. I know that sounds crazy, but after a certain point, you kind of get there. So let's take a few questions. It's 30 minutes in to my second video of the day. I really appreciate you guys. So what's your favorite sub? Omoplata. I was an armbar guy for a long time, then I was a triangle guy, and they all lead into each other. But I love the omoplata. I love to and may not get a sub with it, but I love to like reverse a position with it. Prefer gi or no gi. I love the gi, but I haven't trained it for years. Speak about Ninja's career. We will another day. I'm gonna do something on the classic Pride guys. You've been blocked, Danny. Such trolling. I don't know who that is. Speak about Ninja's career. How much weight have you lost after training jiu-jitsu? Yeah, you lose a lot of weight, especially in the gi. You look fit. Thanks. I've been working out a fair bit. Do we have free will or not? That's a tricky one. I'm not sure yet. We're going to get into that one day. Have you ever come to Hawaii? I hope to come to Hawaii in December. I've been hearing there might be a Bellator card there. And if so, I hope to get to Hawaii in December. Who's your favorite fighter? Jorge's one of my 5 or 10 favorite. Cub Swanson. Big fan of Michael Chandler. Really like this Juan Archuleta. I've been, after doing 6 or 8 of his breakdowns, I really like him. A lot of great fighters. Carlos Condit. Stephen Thompson, big fan. Like Chris Weidman. I like a lot of these guys. Holly Holm. Why did your Instagram get shut down? Good question. At Robin Black Martial Arts. I appreciate everybody who is promoting and sharing my new Instagram and sharing my 1-minute breakdowns and putting my new Instagram on there. Got taken down because I used a Jorge Masvidal flying knee that was filmed from the audience by a cell phone in the audience. I don't know why that was wrong, but this is the world we live in. I'm going to just work with it. What do you think about the card tomorrow? Isn't it today? Isn't today Saturday? Mostly excited for Uriah. You'll hook me up with a Christian T. Or Christian Lee. Cool. Training Muay Thai alone in a garage is hard. Sure it is. Training anything's hard. But today you've got great coaching you can access on YouTube and all over the place. Was it a matter of time before Ben got caught? It's a matter of time before everybody gets caught. It's a matter of time. Everything's a matter of time. We're all going to die. It's only a matter of time, right? Right? Like everything's a matter of time. What do you think about Diego Sanchez hiring a wizard for his training? That's nonsense. But let him do what he wants. It's his life. Let him enjoy. Ryan Hall versus Elkins. Yeah, that will be fun. When you used to train, I still train. Did you ever experience the shocker technique? I did a breakdown of the toe shocker. Oh, shit. That got taken down. I'll put it back up. You'll see it. John Jones, leaks, big leaks. Don't know what that means. Do you think Faber is going to look good or bad? I think he'll look like he's having fun. I don't know. Depends how much he's been training. And I don't know the answer to that. But I suspect he's not going to go in there and fuck around. I think he's going to come in great shape as he always was. Hey, Robin, been a fan for a while. Hope you're feeling good. Much love from Croatia. Thank you, my friend. Really enjoy your 1-minute breakdowns. Death is resulting. I'm going to live forever. Death is resulting. Who knows, man? Nobody's ever lived forever before, but doesn't mean it couldn't happen. Thinking about supporting Bob Sapp in his comeback effort. You do that, man. Do you think Durandamy deserves her so-called life sentence, being constantly called up for her late punches? I don't know what people deserve. I don't know. I can't control people. Neither can she. Tony Ferguson at welterweight. Like it. Ferguson Bink. Like it. Think Santos really showed Jones holes in the game. So that's an interesting one. I'm going to hold this here. Jones will fight to make sure priority 1, don't lose. And then priority 2, look for your errors. And I thought he did that beautifully. Could Jones just annihilate somebody if he fought differently? Yes. And would that increase his chance of getting caught, especially a heavy hitter like this guy, by 15, 20%? Yes. Would he do that? No. So it's a different fight than against everybody else. Love your breakdowns when they were on UFC. Wish ESPN had you on the program. Hey, man, I'll be doing all kinds of shit. I'll keep growing. I'll keep getting better. Some of it will be too weird, and some of it will be just right. It'll hit pockets where, the audience is exactly where I am, or this is, I make a nice living doing exactly what I want. So it comes and goes. I'm good with it. Do you still play music? Not really. Jorge Connor, I like it. Jones, do you think Jones' last performance was due to PEDs? I don't know. I don't know what he's taking. I don't know what he is and isn't taking. Those PED things are very, like, everyone's mad at TJ, but like 10 or 15% of other fighters might be on that and they're not caught. TJ admitted it. It's up to you. You react how you want to react. Hi, Robin. Hi. How'd you feel when Conor told you what he was going to do against Aldo? Honestly, my hand started shaking. It was fucking weird. It was fucking weird. Like, I felt like it was weird. I felt chills. It was strange. And I'll never forget that. It was pretty neat. But I'll do other neat things too. I'm going to be doing this as long as I live. Does John Jones fight to his level of his opponent? He fights to make sure he doesn't make mistakes. And it's brilliant. And I admire it greatly. Diaz fight still going on. Diaz Pettis? I believe so. Thoughts on Conor versus Jorge or George? He can call him either. I like it. I like it. I don't know what shapes Conor's in. I don't know where his mind's at. I don't know anything about where he's at. So I don't know what that would look like. Jorge's probably enjoying life right now. Conor's maybe training hard. I don't know. But I like it. It depends on where they're at. Conor is not the same man that he was when he last fought. So any opinion about who Conor used to be, people will make it. They'll do it a lot. And maybe I will. It depends on, some of my TV jobs. My job is to say certain things that the audience wants to hear. So sometimes I'll do that. But Conor's not Conor right now. He could be a better Conor or a worse Conor or a different Conor or a parallel Conor or better at certain things or worse. Just watch your fight versus Derek Charbonneau. Thanks. That was a really great experience. All of them were, even the losses. What do you think of Santos' mental strategy to keep fighting on? I admire Santos fighting on his fucked up leg. Would you ever roll with Joe Rogan? Of course I would. I hope to one day, but he'll smash me. He's bigger, stronger, and a better jiu-jitsu player. So, he's got all the advantages. Why was Anderson Silva such a wizard? He was at his best when he was free. Just was fluid and creative. And when he let himself go, he was amazing. Hypothetically, Prime Laborio versus Hodger Gracie. The newer is often better, but Laborio, it was mentally and physically and emotionally so strong that maybe, who knows? It would be about attributes, because the modern game understands how to beat the old game. But attributes, he could win. Josh Emmett, I like him. Thoughts on those AirPods? The reason I have them is because there's a really good mic in here. So that's why I have them. I don't want to wear them. I don't like having them in my ears, but there's a really good mic, so it's very simple. I don't have to plug a mic in or set it up. It just sounds really good. Robin, you're the man. Keep your head up. People are very negative towards you a lot. I don't know. People say that, but I don't feel like that. I feel like maybe 1 out of 50 people are negative towards me, but maybe it's my perspective, but it makes me happy to have it. Rogan doesn't roll light. Is that true? He may not, half-ass it, but he'll roll light because the really good guys don't use a lot of strength. So in that way, he will, I'm sure. I've never rolled them. He'll crush me when we do, but it'll be a great experience. Okay, a couple other ones. A lot of nice comments. Well, let's wrap it, guys. We did 2. So if you're just with me on this one, I appreciate it. It was very, very cool. We've been getting a lot of love on YouTube lately. New studio coming up tomorrow or Monday with a TV, and we're going to do a lot of cool stuff there. A little relaunch, a little repush. It's going to be fun. Go back and watch the other one I just did if you're interested. It's like one video back if you click videos. And please follow me on Instagram at Robin Black Martial Arts. And if you would, repost one of my videos. Just find a repost app, repost it and say, follow Robin Black. It would mean the world to me. As I said, there's so many people that were watching those, and it felt so good to get it to them. And so many of them seemed to really like them and waited for them. They were waiting for the next one. And I feel like it's my job to help them find where to get them, and it's my job to find them. So thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. This is one of the great pleasures. This chapter of media right now is one of the great pleasures ever, because we can do shit like this. Just on a Saturday morning, we can hang out and talk, and it's a really wonderful thing. And I thank you immensely. And until next time, enjoy the hostilities, my friends. Black out.